Hello everyone, welcome, this is Icy Turbo, and today we are once again going to go forth into the arena. So, without further ado, let's get started. Now, we're going to be going through our draft today once again, and hopefully, oh my gosh. Oh, that was scary, I thought, whew, okay. Anyways, so, that being said, we now have 3 of the classes that we get to pick from today. First off, we have Malfurion, who we already have played before, and while he was fantastic to play as, I don't necessarily want to do a Druid once again. Kind of want to just go through all the classes as fast as possible. The second one is Uther, who is a Paladin, and we haven't done him yet. And finally, we have the Hunter Rexxar. Now, this is good. This is actually kind of interesting, because as much as I want to play a Paladin, I kind of want to try Rexxar today. If simply because we've already done all these holy and, you know, kind of bigger than life characters, so it's good to meet someone who's a little bit more down to earth. And that, and you know, honestly, hunters can do really well in arenas, and I haven't played a hunter in arena in so long, so let's do it. Alrighty, first off, we have Ravenhold Assassin, Murloc Tidecaller, and Misdirection. Misdirection is fantastic for 2 mana. When a character attacks your hero, instead he attacks another random character. This is fantastic because what you do is basically change the way that a character has to play things. For example, if, say, you have a very specific scenario where you're fighting off against both a big card and a small card, and you want to get rid of it as soon as possible, you can just Misdirection. And so even if he does a very tiny card, he may or may not actually, you know, all that good stuff. I'm going to take Misdirection. It's one of the better hunter secrets. Alrighty. Bluegill Warrior, Nightblade, and Gurubashi. Gurubashi isn't really good for hunter decks. Bluegill Warrior is actually pretty good because unless we get a lot of spells, hunters don't have a lot of direct removal. And Nightblade's a pretty bad 5. I mean, it's a 4/4 for 5. Its value is pretty bad. And yeah, it deals 3 damage, but you know what? Health in Hearthstone isn't everything. So let's do Bluegill Warrior. We have Kill Command, Multi-Shot, and Bluegill Warrior. I'm going to probably go for Kill Command. It's more orientated towards what I like, and if we get any sort of beast, it will increase the damage more. Multi-Shot's pretty good, but these are common cards. I'm going to get Kill Command first, though. Alrighty, Fairy Dragon, Direwolf Alpha, Thrallmere, Farseer. Just to let you guys know, anytime a beast shows up, almost always get it unless it's a really bad beast, because they just synergize so well with hunter cards, then I actually probably would go for Direwolf Alpha regardless, as not only is it a beast, but it also gives attack, and it's a good card overall, so I'm going to do a Direwolf Alpha. Alrighty, we have Voodoo Doctor, Hunter's Mark, Mad Bomber. Hunter's Mark can be good, but not that good. Voodoo Doctor, we don't need health, so we're going to go for Mad Bomber, as even if it's RNG, it's still a 3/2 for 2, so if it goes in your favor, congratulations, win your favor. If it doesn't, well, they still have to deal with the 3/2 body, which is still a good card. Alrighty, Kobold Geomancer, Tundra Rhino, and Multi-Shot. We're going to go for Multi-Shot. Not only is it crowd control, and it's very, very good crowd control, we don't know how many beasts we're going to get, and spell damage isn't very applicable for hunters unless we have a lot of spells, which we don't know how many spells we're going to get, so Multi-Shot. Azure Drake, Savannah Highmane, and Murloc Tidecaller. Savannah Highmane is basically the 6 mana cost of a Harvest Golem. It's a fantastic 6 card. It summons two hyenas on Death Rattle, which means this card basically has a value of 10/9, but without necessarily having it on one body. It's a fantastic card, and it's a beast no matter what, which is fantastic. Azure Drake is very, very good too, but just because this is such a good late game card, especially for hunters, and it's a beast, we're going to go for it. Alrighty, Starving Buzzard, Timberwolf, Razorfen, Hunter. Out of all these, this is still the better beast card, as we already have a wolf that's better and isn't as horrible, and even if we play this and then just play one card afterwards, it's still good. It draws fire and draws mana, and it still is at 2 attacks, so it's better for trading. Alrighty, Frost Elemental, Youthful Brewmaster, Scavenging Hyena. I actually think we are starting to get enough cards where Scavenging Hyena isn't a bad idea, especially since it gains +1/+1, or +2/+1 on beast, and it's still at a pretty efficient 2 cost. And we don't have many cards that we want to return to the battlefield, and Frost Elemental isn't very good. We're going to go for Scavenging. Alrighty, we have Sunwalker Flare and Eaglehorn Bow. This is pretty hard because Eaglehorn Bow is a weapon, and weapons are great. They're fantastic, in fact. And we already have a good amount of early synergy, so I do want to get it, but it's also Sunwalker. It's a hard decision because you either A, get this, or B, get this. weapons in general are pretty rare, and it's always good to have a hunter, so I'm going to go for Eagle Horn. Alrighty, Coal Master, Leper Gnome, Nightblade. All of these are pretty bad for what deck we're going to be going for. If I had to pick the one that might be the most applicable, it would probably be Leper Gnome, just because it's a good one play. And frankly, these other two just don't appeal to me at all. 4/4 for 5 is horrible, and it can be traded with basically any 4 cost. And Coal Master, I don't have enough weaker creatures to do it, and I don't really have... it's a hard choice, but I'm going to go for Leper Gnome in this case. It wasn't a good choice, but it was there. Jungle Panther, multi-shot, Noblest Adventure. Jungle Panther, it's a beast, it's stealth, it's a good 3, and we're kind of low on 3s anyway. Alrighty, Silverhand Knight, Tauren Warrior, Worgen Infiltrator. We're going to get some more of the big creatures. This is a great card in general, regardless of what deck you put it in, so definitely the Silverhand Knight. Mana Wraith, Lightworn, Mana Addict. All these are horrible. But out of all of these, this one's probably the best, since if we get more spells, it will at least get some attack, and it's still better than this card, which is still pretty bad. I mean, we do have a lot of early cards, though. All minions cost 1 more. This is tough. There isn't really a good choice in this, because we're never going to get heals. We don't have enough spells for this, and this is in general a bad card, but I think Mana Wraith might be the best. At least it's a 2/2 for 2, so we can trade with another 2, so let's go for that. Alrighty, Colight's here. Azure Drake, Sun Fury Protector. I don't want Sun Fury Protector. I want the Azure Drake. It's a draw card, 4/4 for 5, spell damage +1. It's a good card. Let's go. Alrighty, Youthful Brewmaster, Dread Corsair, Voodoo Doctor. All these are pretty bad, but this is slightly better because out of all of these, it's still a 2, and it can at least get a couple of these other cards back onto the field, so we'll go for Youthful. It's not the best pick, but it's there. Multi-shot again, because I don't want those other 2 cards at all. Spiteful Smith, Dread Corsair, Hunter's Mark. Wow, this is pretty bad. The problem is we only have 1 weapon, so even if we have it, but we don't really have any big cards, and this is still a pretty powerful card for a 5. Yeah, I'm going to go for the 5. Alrighty, Deadly Shot. Nope. Ignoring the Beast. This is the best spell in the game. This card is the best spell in the game. For 3 mana, it will destroy a random enemy minion. It's a common card, which means it's not rare, which means you can get a lot of these if you're lucky. And what's great about Deadly Shot is that you can randomly attack the only minion on your opposite side of the field, which means if you actually board clear effectively, you can use Deadly Shot to get out the MVP character you want, and it's cheap, so it's good all game. Deadly Shot all the way. Alrighty, Mountain Giant, Big Game Hunter, and Snake Trap. Honestly, there's only one reason I'm going to do this. Because not only do we have good synergy with Direwolf Alpha, we also have Scavenging Hyena and Starving Buzzard, and Snake Trap is a fantastic play, because guess what? 3 beasts get summoned, Starving Buzzard gets 3 card draw. These 3 beasts die, this thing gets 6+ attack and +3 health. We're going to go for Snake Trap. Alrighty, all these are horrible, but out of all these, this is a beast, and that means it's less horrible, so we're going to go for Young Dragonhawk. All these are horrible, but out of all these, this is still the least horrible. We're going to go for Leper Gnome. These are actually good, but we need Taunt, because we don't have any, and this is the best taunt in the game, so we're going to go for Senjin. Another Deadly Shot, and it's the best crowd control in the game, so Deadly Shot. Alrighty, Abomination, Mind Control Tech, and Arcane Golem. I'm guessing with this deck that we're going to have a lot of hard times getting control, so I'm actually going to go for Mind Control Tech, because I do feel like we're going to have a hard time keeping board control, and none of these other cards are going to give it to us. Yeah, Mind Control Tech all the way. Tracking's a pretty bad card. Nightblade's a pretty bad card. This is still a good card. It's basically a Yeti, but split up between 2 characters, which is not bad, but it's better than any of the other cards, so we're going to look for Dragon Lane. Spellbreaker, Silverhand Knight, Dragon Lane Mechanic. Well, Silverhand Knight always has value. Spellbreaker's pretty good, though, and we don't have anything that can... We have a lot of crowd control, though. I'm going to go for Silverhand Knight. It's just a better card. Arcane Shot, Stone Tusk, Boar, and Frostwolf. Arcane Shot all the way. It's still crowd control. Probably the Yeti. Yeti's probably the best 4 in the game, and we need some of the beefy characters. We already have 2 multi-shots anyway. Chillwind. Let's hope this is good. Misdirection, Mana Addict, Mind Control. We're going to go for Misdirection. Alrighty. Let's talk about the reason why I picked certain picks. A lot of these on the top of my memory is that Leper Gnome, it will always deal 2 damage to a hero. That's not bad. and it still trades pretty efficiently. Even if it's hero powered, it still does 2 damage, so it gets its job done. And honestly, there wasn't much better cards than this. I only had 1 weapon, so I didn't want to get a bunch of the weapon cards because I only have 1 weapon. But I did get a good amount of secrets. I got 3 secrets. A lot of them are really cheap, so I'm actually hoping that I can get Eagle Horn Bone at some point. I also have a lot of crowd control. There are some good late cards that I have, but nothing spectacular. So I think what this deck is going to be revolved around is just getting the board advantage as fast as possible, and hopefully with the amount of crowd control that we have, getting rid of the big threats so that the slightly bigger threats can help kill people. But mana curve way skewed onto the 2s, but at least that means I have a lot of early plays to do. But with that being said, it's not a terrible mana curve. It's just a very weird one. So anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Tune in next time, and we'll continue our arena run with the Hunter.